This movie had a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes at the start of its release. Can we relax with throwing the 90s around? Can those critics, whoever you are, please understand, movies need to be close to perfection to garner such a score. Jaws is 97%. The Dark Knight is 94%. Pulp Fiction is 92%. 28 years later is nowhere near that. Nowhere near. You know that saying, its whole is better than the sum of its parts? This movie is the opposite. The sum of its very specific and entertaining parts is significantly better than the entire whole. Believe me, fam. So let's get into this long-awaited sequel. Quick synopsis out of the way. This movie takes place, like the title says, 28 years later. So apparently the sequel, 28 weeks later, is not part of the extended canon or lore of this universe. Even though they use some of the footage from that movie in the beginning credits of this movie. Did anybody else notice that? It would mean that the virus has spread through Europe through Paris. But apparently in this movie, just like the first, it's just Britain specifically. The virus has ravaged the city for the last 28 years. And in this story, we follow Spike and his father, played by Aaron Taylor-Johnson. Spike, who's played very well by Alfie Williams, who live on this secluded island where you can only enter when the tide is low. And once the tide comes back in, it gives it that extra layer of safety and security. At the start of this movie, Aaron Taylor-Johnson wants to take his son Spike out on his very first adventure into the mainland. More like no man's land. And is treated more as a rite of passage than anything else. While on the mainland, you get to see how much the world has changed in the last 28 years. How the virus has changed in the last 28 years. Everything has sort of evolved into something else now. Something entirely different. And we also come to learn that Spike's mother, played by Jodie Comer, is suffering from a certain illness that the doctors in the compound just can't treat. And after Spike is told that there's a certain doctor out there that might or might not be insane, Spike chooses to venture out to find out for himself. And this movie also opens up with a little boy who loses his family and father, but just before the father passes, he gifts the boy something. And now we set off on our movie. And also keep in mind that the original directing and writing team from the first movie, the director, which is Danny Boyle, and the writer, which is Alex Garland, have come back for this latest installment, which gave me a lot of cause for excitement. And was that excitement warranted? Let's discuss. I watched this movie 28 weeks later, right after watching 28 Days Later. It had been a very long time since I'd seen the first movie. I finished watching 28 Days Later, bought a ticket, got in my car, and then I went to watch 28 Years Later, like straight away.
Right away.
Now I'm going to start with the positives of this movie. The first half of this movie is absolutely entertaining. When we have to go with Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Spike into the mainland to find out how bad things have gotten, that entire section, I won't lie, is some of the best this franchise has ever been. You've got a bit of tension, you've got a bit of fear, you don't know what's coming around every corner, because now we have more than one threat, we have like 3 or 4. This world does not need more threats. The threat that they had before, that was more than enough, but they added even more to this one, which I'll get into shortly. I liked the feeling of being shoved back into this world. The first 30 to 45 minutes definitely had that feeling. I was fully invested, no doubt about it. The acting from everyone was stellar. Aaron Taylor-Johnson was good. He's never been bad, really. Kraven the Hunter was shit, but I thought he was still good. Jodie Comer had a lot to work with and chew on, and I believe she delivered. The standout, though, for everyone will definitely be Alfie Williams, who plays Spike. I will give him his flowers because he deserves it. And we have Ralph Fiennes doing his thing. Or is it Ray Fiennes? It's Ralph Fiennes, right? Not Ray Fiennes. Has that guy ever been a bad actor? Not really. I also want to give a quick mention to the score and music of this movie. I thought the score to this movie was very good, very eerie, very haunting at parts, and was very effective throughout. And now with this expanded world that they've brought us, we see how the virus has evolved, and that it's not just one type of infected anymore, which I have mixed feelings about. I neither hate nor love it. You have the basic ones from the old movie, as well as slow lows. They are fat and slug-like, and not threatening if you can see them coming. But if you're not paying attention, they can sneak up on you real good. And then you have the ones that nobody wants to run into ever. The alphas. The most intense and menacing, rip your skull and spine out while you're breathing type of infected. Man, the first encounter with these alphas and its unrelenting determination to fuck shit up was super intense. Dare I say it, heart pounding, nail biting. When it's running full speed at you like this, knowing that if it gets a hold of you, you are screwed. It's gonna play with you like Play-Doh. And just like, it runs at you the same way a video game boss would when it sees you. It's like, I'm going to destroy you. Hurling itself towards you no matter what you have. Bro, all I'm saying is if I was living in a world with those alphas running around and all you gave me was a knife and a bow and arrow, that compound has become my heaven. I ain't going nowhere. Cause these alphas, they have a much more muscular and formidable appearance and need much more than one arrow to take them down. So I'm going into this world with these alphas and all I have is a bow and arrow and I need my whole basket of arrows to take it down? Are you kidding me? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Aaron Taylor Johnson mentions that they need like 12 to take it down just to start to be lethal. Yeah, from a scale of can't to even, I
can't even with this place.
And the reason we have these alphas is because the virus kind of acts like a steroid testosterone booster once it enters specific infected individuals. And it also makes them smarter, tactical, and patient. Why would the virus that turns most into mindless, rabid, bloodthirsty idiots turn some into tactical, patient Mr. Olympias? I don't know. The filmmaker's philosophy is don't ask too many questions. But they want you to keep in mind that even in real life, viruses evolve. And this is the evolution of the rage virus after 28 years. But the flu has been a thing since forever. You don't see me evolving into the mountain from Game of Thrones. Also, when the alphas did show up and were wrecking absolute carnage, I could only think two things. Mortal Kombat fatalities, and that these things would be amazing prey for the predators. Become the ultimate killer of killers. Predator trying to rip out the alpha's spine, while the alpha's trying to do the same. That's what my demented imagination was conjuring up while watching this movie. Was I the only one? On top of all these updated infected, we slowly come to learn that the mainland is also home to another faction of survivors that could cause a lot of problems for our main characters in the sequel. Everything's about creating spin-offs for new franchises and future movies all the time. How about we make sure that the film igniting said franchise is the best that it can be, with a proper beginning, middle, and end. And maybe tease an after-credits scene. You know, like classic MCU. Because this movie is definitely well made, well shot. But are all the ideas that are brought in well executed? Not executing your ideas properly will become a motif in this video. Now, when it came to the first movie, I didn't have an affinity for it the same way everybody else did.
What did you say? What did you just say?
Relax, let me finish this statement, wait. I don't love 28 Days Later, but I really like it and appreciate it. It was a little new and inventive for a genre with my type of zombies. The crazy marathon psycho lunatic out to get you with a will and a purpose type zombie. Those are the kind of zombies that induce fear in me while I'm watching it. In 28 Days Later, they were just these rage-infected killers that would haul ass towards you once bitten or scratched or even bled on. One drop is all it needs. That's how powerful this virus is. This will be an important point later. Now, we all know that Danny Boyle is a very stylish director. A word you can use to describe him and his methods is flashy, with exuberant editing choices that work amazing sometimes, but not all the time. During this movie, he does this thing where he intercuts scenes from movies of old into this movie to try and convey a certain point, which I thought, in all honesty, wasn't needed. Because after a certain point in the movie, he just stops doing that. So why use it in the first place? And Danny Boyle chose to film the movie with iPhones, not in the way that you think. You saw somebody holding their phone with their bare hands. They were put on rigs with, I'm assuming, certain lenses added to them, filters and whatnot. And just like when you use your phone and zoom into stuff and continue filming, you lose a little bit of that focus. Kind of like if I was to zoom in and continue, we lose some of the clarity, which in a funny way reflects how the first movie was made with potato quality cameras. And no matter the format, DVD, 1080p, Blu-ray, 4K, Ultra 4K, HD, the quality of the first movie doesn't make a lick of difference. It adds to the charm of the movie, so it doesn't bother me. The filmmaking in the first was much more reserved. Obviously, the budget not being the same as this one. And the story of the first movie from start to finish, for me personally, kept me fully invested in the characters that the movie chose to introduce. This movie though, minus the first 30 to 45 minutes, which I will agree I did enjoy. The rest of the movie though, loses its way big time. 28 steps in the wrong direction. Alex Garland, the writer of this movie, loves to reach for very out there themes and symbolism, which I sometimes feel certain movies just don't need. Case in point, this movie. One of his movies, if I was to personally make a list of 50 to 100 best movies of all time to put on my list, would definitely be on it. And that movie is Ex Machina. I think that movie is near perfect from start to finish. That movie deserves 90% plus on Rotten Tomatoes. With all the symbolisms and themes about humanity and AI, all of it. I think whatever he was trying to convey in that movie, I believe he shot and he scored. With the way AI and technological innovation is moving and heading towards right now, Ex Machina might as well be a documentary. That being said, there are certain parts in this movie I would say left me flabbergasted. And don't get me wrong, I know what they were trying to say or make us understand. But I just thought that it was a pointless waste of time in a zombie apocalypse movie. Now, I'm about to get into some spoiler territory. For the ones that haven't watched it, come back later. Not 28 days later. Watch the movie, then come back and watch my video. Like, straight away.
Right away.
For the ones that have seen it or don't give a good goddamn about spoilers, let us proceed. One scene that had me infuriatingly want to shout at the screen in a crowded cinema, no less, was a pregnancy scene. Now you might be thinking, pregnancy? Wow, why would that infuriate you? That's the magnificence of life, the magic of birth. It's the beautiful start of... It's the infected giving birth.
Brother,
So apparently the infected can get pregnant? Now it's never established whether the infected woman was pregnant before being bit, or was she infected and fell in love with her infected hubby, and then he left a messed up bun in the oven? We never get the answer. Remember, don't ask too many questions. Shh. But during this pregnancy, our lead character Spike, as well as a soldier they run into, and his mother, played by Jodie Comer, decide to help this infected woman. Jodie Comer specifically. And please keep in mind that the pregnant woman is infected with the rage virus. Like... yeah, that. So now Jodie Comer's character decides to get close to her, like close, and lock hands with her to help ease the pain of birth. Now, if this woman was just a woman giving birth, my reaction would be, "Oh, that's nice. Stranger helping another stranger in need in a standard apocalypse setting. That's humanity. So beautiful." The fact that we have a non-infected woman locking hands and being face to face with a rabid, rage-infected monster that has a virus that is so potent and can infect you with so much as a bite, scratch, spit. She could spray it and not say it, and that could be the end of it, as well as a single drop of blood. Singular. All the while, the soldier that's with them is screaming at her to get away from the pregnant zombie. That soldier was me in this situation, and I'll give it to him. He had the patience. Because if this was me in this type of zombie apocalypse... bro, I would have shot the zombie. I would have shot the mom the moment she would start to spasm. Because that's exactly what would have happened if this world was real and if the sun gave me any shit. Boy. So when you have scenes like that take place, after the investment which I've had for the last 45 minutes, it ejects me out of the movie completely. You just didn't get the scene. It's supposed to symbolize that a mother sympathizes with another mother, no matter the world or scenario. And... Shut up. Shut up. I totally, utterly understand what is going on. But I also totally and utterly believe that it's a scene that makes no sense with the world that they have established and the world that they live in, with the threat that is ever present. If this was a post-apocalyptic universe without the zombies, without the rage virus, hey, I would say a scene like that stands out. But for this movie, it stands out in the worst of ways. And now everything following this scene keeps getting worse. I mean, from the frying pan to the fires of Mount Doom. So after the pregnant zombie gives birth to what seems to be a perfectly non-infected baby, how, you might ask? With a throwaway line that says, "It's the magic of the placenta."
You're kidding, right?
No.
The soldier shoots the rage-infected woman and then gets Mortal Kombat fatality'd by another alpha, who might be the father of this baby?
You are the father!
And then Jodie Comer and Spike run for their lives away from this hulking, ever-threatening, spine-rearranging monster. And just as it's about to shred and get a fatality combo on them, Ray Fiennes' character comes out of nowhere and darts it with a morphine concoction that incapacitates it. And while in this vulnerable state, they kill it. They take a knife and stab it in the back of the head, in its medulla oblongata, because these puta pendejos are hard to take down, and any alpha that can be taken down, best believe the opportunity will not be lost. The only good alpha is a dead alpha. They let it live.
Say that again.
You heard me right. They let it live. For reasons. Apparently the infected and Ray Fiennes' character have a symbiotic relationship. And he lets Samson, yeah, he named it. They let Samson go. It's an alpha. It's gonna wreck shit and destroy everything in sight. The kid was chased by one in the opening. Does he have short-term memory loss or something? An alpha chased him that was more juiced up than a bodybuilder with the running horsepower of Tom Cruise. That's not a combination anybody wants. There's a version of this movie in my imagination that actually could be a top 10 zombie movie of all time. Nothing beats the imagination. And then we come to another perplexing scene. Yeah, there's more. Where again, I understand what they were going for, but the execution. Man, remember when I talked about execution? It's all about the execution. So the reason that Spike left the island compound with his mother was because his mom is ill and nobody that is on the compound can help her with what's happening with her. And he's told of a crazy doctor on the mainland, which is Ray Fiennes' character, which Spike eventually finds, or should I say, Ray Fiennes finds them just in the nick of time, might I add. And we come to learn that the mom has a brain tumor and nothing can be done, unfortunately. So, Ray Fiennes' character kills the mother with her consent, apparently, which we don't see her give. It's implied. Bro, it's 2025. Make sure you have consent. There's no implied. And before all of this is about to take place, Ray Fiennes' character drugs the kid with the same concoction he used on the alpha, or another one, I don't really give a shit, as he proceeds to mercy kill his mom, and then bring back her skull so Spike can put it on top of this massive bone temple that Ray Fiennes has built as a way to remember the dead, or as he says in Latin, memento mori. I swear to you, while this whole scene was going on, my face was squinting trying to understand the reasoning as to why they would use this method of storytelling to convey this message. That scene was intended, or supposed to evoke a sense of love, sorrow, and melancholy, and be this somber moment, and I only had one thought during it. What the is going on? It's supposed to symbolize
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
and it's not done. It keeps getting worse. So Spike, Ray Fiennes' character, and the baby hide out somewhere, and the Alpha Samson finds them. Samson grabs a hold of Ray Fiennes' character, and I thought, oh damn, he let it go before. Now he's gonna pay the price and die for it. Poetic. That's not what happens. Spike takes one of the darts and drugs it again, and they let it go again. They let it go again.
You can't be serious.
I'm not making this shit up, people. It really happens. And then Spike takes the baby back to his island compound sanctuary place. How with the whole tide coming in and out thing? Again, don't ask. And I thought positively again. Oh shit, maybe the baby's not infected, but he's a carrier. And it's gonna destroy the compound community place. Have a crazy nihilistic ending, symbolizing that no good deed goes unpunished. How's that for some symbolism? You saved one baby and destroyed an entire community. Nope, that's not what happens. Just sends it there and then goes on his merry way. He goes from being scared and shaky to more fearless and capable. And now that he's got his confidence, he's a better hunter. He's less nervous than he was the first time he went out to the mainland. The movie ends with him being able to kill a couple of infected. However, some more infected still remain. And out of seemingly nowhere, a man with blonde hair and an upside down cross. Ah, yes, the boy from the opening scene, all grown up. The thing that his father left him was a cross, and now he's wearing it. He has become some kind of cult maniac leader from the looks of it, with long blonde hair and horrible teeth, with fellow acolytes that have the same look, who proceed to kill the remaining infected in what can only be described as a Cirque du Soleil music video quick-cut, hyper-stylistic, totally out-of-place segment, which was super jarring, and I got ejected from this movie again. This movie never really wants you to stay invested for some reason, and this scene is all set up for the sequel, The Bone Temple, coming out in 2026. This movie could have been something really impressive. The potential was right there. If they just followed the same stream of consciousness they had from the start, instead of getting swept away in whatever shitstorm this ended up being. This movie had an amazing, enthralling first half. I'm not gonna lie. Full honesty, the first half of this movie, I was invested. I was buying what they were selling. I was smelling what they were cooking. They introduced these juiced up, menacing, super threatening monsters and utilized them well at the start, then don't really expand on them, and then treat them as if they were never threatening at all. Wasted. The thing about this movie as it was going along, I realized, or I had the feeling, the filmmakers got a bit too indulgent, a little too lost in their own hype, and started to reach for something too out there. That obliterated the second half of this movie, to a point that I never want to watch it again. And if I do, it'll only be to a certain point. If you told me to rank the 3 movies in this franchise right now, this would be dead last. No cap. facts. This movie was touted as being a movie worthy of 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. Can we please save the 90s, like I said before, for movies that deserve it? This movie should not be anything higher than a 48 or a 49%. 50% is as high as I would go, because that would make it average. And that's what it ended up being. Could have been higher with some follow through, but judging from the finished product, hella average. And I went in with almost no expectations. None. Zero. Expectations to the ground. Still didn't help. What did all of you think of this long-awaited sequel? Did it live up to your expectations? I ain't gonna judge. Movies are a form of art, my personal favorite form of art. Did all the themes and symbolism work for you or fall flat? Let me know in the comments. I would love to open that type of discourse. This movie is definitely the type for it. Please like, share, comment, and of course subscribe. If you have enjoyed this video, please check out some of my other reviews and videos. And until next time, peace, love, and I'll see you when I see you.